All right, so in this training session, I was inspired by the MMA fighter. His name is Cajun Johnson, and um, he runs. You can look up his channel, but he one of the things that he came up with, it was called Primal Combat Grappling, PKG grappling. You can look that up, and I was inspired by it because the way he was talking about grappling and how you almost always want to be on top of someone, and you don't want to allow them to grab your head, because like if you can control someone's head, you control the body. And so I really like that philosophy, and so I decided to kind of take that into my own hands and try and train that in a live setting, of course. So in this training session, my whole goal was, I wasn't even trying to pass. My whole goal was to try and basically like just stand up and be above my opponent and keep my head over their head. And yeah, and so this led to a lot of really interesting things that happened. One of them was obviously, like, because I was so upright, my legs got entangled a lot, but I basically told myself, like, if I get in an entanglement and they knock me down, as soon as they knock me down, I'm going to just stand right back up. So yeah, we're going to look at this video and kind of like analyze what I'm doing. But basically all I'm doing is I'm not trying to pass the guard. I'm not trying to submit. The only thing that I'm doing in this training session is just basically getting on top of my opponent and keeping my head above their head. And I'm trying to keep almost like a standing posture the whole time so that they can't grab my head. And yeah, so let's get into it. So I went ahead and just like went right into this entanglement. And as you can see, he's trying to put me in a single leg X position. You can't really see from here, but this whole time I'm just trying to keep my head above his head and kind of control the feet, like keep the feet off of me. But if he does put me in like an entanglement, that's okay. I'm just kind of like allowing him to do it just to see what happens. You can see right here, I'm like just driving my hips into him, keeping my head like really, really high up. He tries to start to take my back, and he almost does, but I stand up and then turn around, and then I just go right back into it. I almost started a tripod, but that would have defeated the purpose of keeping a very like high posture and keeping my head above his head. So I go right back into it. Like I said, I'm not trying to pass his guard at all. I'm just trying to like almost just engage, keep my balance, and almost like surf above him. And the whole time I'm just thinking about keeping my head above his head, but also having like a very horizontal posture. So like I kind of just like stepped into mount right there. And I didn't try and pass. I'm letting him like entangle my leg, driving my hips in just to see what will happen. As soon as he sweeps me, I get right back up. That was my whole goal. Like if he does knock me down, destabilize me, I want to get right back up. I'm just keeping like a really, really good base, head above his head, not letting him get grips, just kind of seeing like what happens by playing this style. And I put both knees on him. Still, like as you can see, this whole time I'm just trying to keep my head above his head, and that's like all I'm like really focusing on right now. I'm not trying to mount, I'm not trying to pass, and I'm not trying to submit. So I step right into his guard. Um, Just kind of want to see what happens. I'm pinching my knees together and seeing if I can almost like pass by just moving my hips. He knocks me down, but once again, I stand right back up, clear the feet, step around. That was, I mean, I'm not even trying to pass right now. Kind of just showing him that I could be punching him in the face if I wanted to. So here is interesting. I decided to not, once again, I wanted my head away from his head. So I decided to keep a more vertical posture and control his head as much as possible. So I started doing this thing where I press down on the person's head as much as possible, and it's really hard for him to stand up in that way because he can't, like, it's almost like he can't deadlift it if with all that pressure. I could try and take his back here, return him to the mat, but I really just wanted to see what would happen if I kind of stayed in this posture. I'm just kind of exploring these things, and then I get right back up. I could have taken his back, but once again, like, I'm trying to keep a very vertical posture, like just kind of stepping around, high stepping, seeing what happens if I keep my head really high. And I think he was saying that he's exhausted, and it is exhausting trying to maintain your guard in this way. One thing I started to do was press against the person's face, like not put my whole hand on their face, but like push against the jaw. All right, so that was the end of that one. And yeah, that was a really interesting one. So I'm gonna stop it there, and probably just post. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop it there. But yeah, that was my first time like just training the very vertical posture, almost like just training my balance and seeing what happens if I just focus on keeping my head above the other person's head, staying on top of my opponent, and then controlling their head by like almost like pressing it down to the floor, like keeping them down as much as possible. It was really interesting because I found that I was like passing guards a lot easier instead of kind of trying to muscle through things like I normally do. But yeah, that was my first round trying that.